Now we are going to discuss the software testing lifecycle. Testing is a process rather than a single activity. The fundamental testing lifecycle consists of the following 5 steps: test planning and control, analysis and design, implementation and execution, evaluating exit criteria and reporting, and lastly, test closure activities. I'll go through these stages and the required test deliverables in each of them, and then we will try to understand the test estimation process within the life cycle. Let's begin with test planning and control. Test planning determines the scope, objectives of testing, and test approach. The availability of requirements is critical at this stage. Test control is an ongoing activity of comparing actual progress against the plan and reporting the status, including deviations from the plan. It involves taking actions necessary to meet the mission and objectives of the project. Test plan and test estimates are the two test deliverables expected at this stage. Next is analysis and design. In this phase, the software requirements are analyzed to identify their testability and the expected behavior of different features, functionalities of the software. In addition to the above activities, test environment infrastructure and the support required to perform the testing are also identified. If you are planning to follow a risk-based testing approach, then start implementing it here. Test scenarios, test cases, and traceability metrics are the expected test deliverables. Moving on to the implementation and execution. During test implementation, test cases are further refined, test data is created, test suites are created for efficient test execution, and test environment is implemented and verified. Test execution covers evaluating the entry criteria, executing the test cases, logging defects for the discrepancies, failed test cases, and preparing test execution results. Test status reports describing the execution status are shared with the stakeholders, and defects management activities are also carried out based on the defects identified in the execution cycle. Then moving on to the evaluating exit criteria and reporting. It is an activity during which test execution is assessed against the defined objectives. This should be performed at each test level. Test exit criteria is assessed in this stage, and test summary report describing the overall summary of the testing activities prepared. Evaluating exit criteria and reporting is an activity during which test execution is assessed against the defined objectives. This should be performed at each test level. Test closure activity. So once software is fully tested and confidence to go ahead with the software is provided by the testing team, the software is made available in the production environment. The test closure activities begin after testing sign-off. The post-testing activities are meant to consolidate experience, test wear, facts, and numbers, like relinquishing the test environment, archiving the test cases, consolidating, updating the corresponding regression test cases, evaluating how the testing went, and to learn lessons for future projects. During project closure, any learning is captured to ensure that challenges are avoided and successes are repeated. This information may also contribute to a post-implementation review, which may be organized by the project manager at the conclusion of the project. So as discussed, test estimation starts at the beginning of the test planning and control phase. It is further developed in the analysis and design phase. After that, you are mainly performing the test activities, but you should keep a check on your estimates to identify any deviations from the effort and to raise a flag immediately. Another factor I would like to discuss over here is more clarity on the requirements. As one progresses further with the project and starts getting the clarifications and more understanding about the project, the estimation variance should get reduced accordingly. The test effort value is an important input to the test plan in the planning stage, so make sure to have test estimates with plus minus 10% variance at the time of writing a test plan.